Hello and welcome to Fix and Drive. Today I'm going to show you what to do if you experience vibrations while accelerating while driving. This is commonly referred to as torque converter shudder. So let's get started. First thing to do is park your car where the exhaust pipes will be sticking out of a garage if you're working inside. Since this will involve running the car and it's raining today, I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of ventilation in the garage. But if you can do this outside, you'll also have plenty of ventilation. So I'm going to make sure that there's plenty of airflow pushing all the exhaust fumes out of the garage. The tools that you'll need are a headband with LED lighting to be able to see, an impact driver to remove the screws. You'll need a 8mm socket to remove the pan under the transmission. You will also need a 17mm box wrench, a magnetic pan to catch the bolts, safety glasses from all the debris that falls from underneath, some gloves to prevent from burning from the exhaust pipe. Okay, so what I'll be using to fix the shudder problem with the transmission is a tube of instant shudder fix. And I bought these 100ml syringes to pump the fluid into the transmission. To learn how to lift your BMW off the ground, click the link in the upper right hand corner. Also using a fan to blow all the exhaust fumes out of my garage. So let's get underneath. Okay, so there's a pan underneath the transmission that we'll need to remove. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3. I'm missing one, but 4. 5. 6. 7. And then this part that you'll twist the pan off with. Okay, so let's remove the bolts first. Okay, now we can twist the pan off. I just kind of turned it until I could get it to twist free from that bracket. It's a tight squeeze to get to the fill plug because of this brace. So I'll be using a box wrench to loosen up the fill plug. Note that right now I'm just breaking it loose, but do not remove the fill plug until the the vehicle transmission has been warmed up enough, or else you'll lose a lot of fluid. Okay, so start the car and let it run. So while the car is running, I'm going to poke a hole in the tube of the shudder fix. Make sure not to squeeze it out. And then I'll take the needle part of the syringe and suck out all the fluid into the syringe. Kind of angling the needle around so I can get that little bit in the bottom of the tube. Okay, now that I got all the fluid out, I'm going to hold the syringe upright and then remove the needle. And then I'm going to add the tube to the syringe. And once I have the tube on, I'm going to hold the syringe upright and then prime it to get all the air out of the syringe before I use it. Something I also realized too late: cut this hose shorter. Since I left it long, I ended up leaving a lot of this Shudder fix fluid in the hose that I couldn't get out. So if you cut the hose shorter, that should prevent that problem. Okay, after the engine's been running for about 10 minutes, you get the transmission warm enough, put on some gloves, and then remove the fill plug on the transmission. There's a pump that runs when the engine's running in the transmission that keeps all the fluid from pouring out. If you don't have the engine running and you remove this fill plug, you'll lose about a quart of fluid. So make sure that the engine's warmed up enough and running while you remove the fill plug. And be really careful, because that exhaust pipe is hot while you are removing this. So that's why gloves come in handy, so that you don't accidentally bump your hand on it and burn your hand. Some fluid will come out, so it's good to have a pan to catch the fluid, but you shouldn't lose much fluid while adding this additive to the transmission. So now we're going to take our 17mm box wrench and loosen the fill plug. It's kind of a weird angle with that support bracket. Once you get it loosened up enough, then you should be able to remove the fill bolt. Okay, now that's removed. You'll see that a little bit fluid will drip out. That's okay. So now we're going to take our syringe with the instant Shudder fix, and we're going to add it to the transmission. So I'll get the hose in there pretty decent. Like I said, make sure to cut this hose shorter. In this video I accidentally left it too long, and you'll see that I end up with quite a bit of the Shudder fix fluid left in the hose that I couldn't get out into the transmission. So if you cut it shorter, you'll have less of this issue. Now I'm going to squeeze Shudder fix fluid into the transmission. Okay, and after I got as much of the fluid in as I could, try to add the fill plug back as soon as possible so you lose as little bit of fluid as possible. Okay, now that I got the fill plug hand tightened, I'm going to use my box wrench to tighten it down. You want to make sure that it's on there good and snug. With how this is angled, you won't really be able to fit a torque wrench on here. So just don't over tighten it, but make sure that you have it fairly firm, and then you're good to go. Okay, so now we're going to add the pan back. Okay, so we'll want to line the hole in the pan back up with the bracket on the transmission. So once you get that lined up, you twist it back into place so that all the holes line up for the screws. Then screw the pan back onto the car. Okay, so this is how you add Shudder fix to your transmission if you're experiencing torque converter slippage. Please note that this is not a permanent fix, but it will smooth your driving until you decide to change your torque converter. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you, stay safe, and God bless.